And how ready are you for a challenge like Lyon?
Yeah, I think the players are excited for sure. It's a Champions League semi-final, so the preparation's gone really, really well this week. The training's been good. We have all the players we want to pick from, so yeah, really excited. Just can't wait to get the game going now.
Pep's just said he thinks that Lyon are a very good side, and clearly their credentials show that. Does that mean there's kind of no extra motivation needed because they are so good and it is such a challenge?
Yeah, we're well aware that they're a really good team, and we're well aware that they're the current holders, but all we've done as a team is exactly what we've done from day one, is prepared for ourselves performing really well in the game. And yeah, we're aware of their strong points. We're also aware of their weaknesses. Every football team has their weaknesses, and we've prepared to go out and play at the level that we've played for the last 2 seasons for sure.
A manager always wants to see progress, and you kind of measure that in results, and your results have been fantastic. But in belief in the state of mind of the players, have you seen that progress almost game on game on game, especially in this competition?
Yeah, definitely. I said before about that in our Champions League campaign that we're young, we have no experience, and every game that we've played, we've grown in experience and we've grown in maturity. And you know, I look at 2 ways this game, and I've told the players that we've prepared for a really exciting Champions League semi-final, and the good part of it is we're highly motivated for the game to get to the final, but we're also well aware that there's no pressure on us for this game because Lyon are the current holders, and everyone perceives they're the best team in Europe, and they're a very, very good team. We have huge respect for them, but you know what? We know that we are highly motivated for this game, and there's no pressure on us.
Lucy, it's a bit like Groundhog Day in the sense that every game that we talk about becomes your biggest game and most important game, and every game up to now you've won being underdogs, so it's just more of the same, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, tomorrow's no different to any other game that we play. Like Nick said, we've prepared the same as we would for any other team. The fact that it's Lyon doesn't change what we do, doesn't change how we play, but I do think this is probably the biggest game that I've been part of at this club. I know we've played cup finals and won domestic leagues, but they're domestic competitions, and you know, the Champions League is the be-all and end-all of club football, and tomorrow's the biggest game that we've had the pleasure of being part of, but there's bigger games ahead if we can make it to the final.
And have you felt that sense of...
Sorry, but I don't know that we'll be able to put that out where it keeps changing.
Yeah, we're going to take it off now.
But that's going to be all our questions, so...
Restart.
Can we go with it?
You can restart it, yeah.
Okay.
2 seconds, sorry.
Even if it just stays like that, it's better.
Should we try it on
It's up to you.
Yeah, let's give it a try and see if it works. Is it not working?
Modern technology. You just need to put the thing up, put the banner across.
No. Still not working, we'll go blank then.
Oh, I won't ask you about the sponsors.
Yeah.
I asked Nick about the belief. I mean, you're in this squad, you've been in this squad for some time. Have you seen that sense of belief grow with every challenge that you face and overcome?
Yeah, definitely. I think we take a lot of confidence from the fact that we haven't lost a competitive game in a long time. No matter who it's been against, big teams where we might have been the underdogs or whatever. But we definitely got a lot of confidence in the players, and the performance that the players pull out in this team gives us more confidence. We have a lot of confidence in each other, and we know that 1 or 2 might not be having a great game, but there'll be someone on that pitch in a City shirt who's having a really good game and dragging the team through.
But you sometimes judge a team and a squad on the strength of the bench, and your bench looks stronger than it ever has, and I guess that's testament to how young players have come in and fitted in, isn't it? Because that seems to be the way it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as players, week in, week out, we don't know who's going to be starting in the team, let alone on the bench as well, because of the strength of the squad and what each player has to offer. And definitely whoever plays tomorrow will play a huge part, but the people on the bench can come and make a difference to our team. Like, And Lyon have that as well, but at least we're able to match that, and we're able to make changes wherever the game sees fit to challenge them and to push them to the very end.
Just last question from me with a black backdrop. Nick, if you get to a Champions League final, that's the first time this club will have got there. What will that mean to have beaten the Blokes, perhaps?
I think when we plan for every game, and I don't look at listen, I would love to get to a Champions League final. I really wanted to get to the FA Cup final, but we planned for the semi-final. I isolate every game, and like I said, I'm confident in my ability to prepare for games, and I'm supremely confident in the players' ability to prepare for games. If I look at this squad, 90% of this squad have played in either Olympic gold finals, World Cup semi-finals, FA Cup finals. We have the players that have the mentality to play in big games. They've just got to draw on that experience and play with no fear. Like I say, this is a game for us where either nobody expects us to get to the Champions League semi-final at the start because it's our first season in it, or nobody expects us to beat Lyon. That's okay with me, because that means our players can go out and play with no fear, and like I say, just replicate the performance that they have in the big games previous to tomorrow's game.
Nick, you spoke after Fortuna about drawing from experiences from previous Champions League games. What have you learnt from those?
We've learnt that there are no bad teams in this competition. Every team comes with a real desire to get through to the next round, and every team that we've played has had real experience of Champions League football in previous years. Experience of travelling, experience of playing in stadiums where they've never played before. So, yeah, we've grown in every round in that experience of travel, in the experience of playing against teams where we have to prepare. We don't know the players, we don't know the style. So, like I said, I'm confident in our preparation, but if we really strip it back, all of our players, like I said, they've played in Euros, they've played in World Cups, they have the experience of what will happen tomorrow already. So we just ask them to draw on that and use the preparation with that experience to go out and enjoy the game.
Lucy, having played in high-pressure games before, how do you approach them? Is there any difference?
No, I don't think there's any difference. And I think tomorrow, like Nick said, we've played in big games before, but if you look at the majority of our squad, we've played against the players that we're playing against tomorrow, but it's just in a different shirt, for England, for Sweden, America, whoever it is. We've all played up against, I don't know, Marazan, Le Sommer, all them different players. So tomorrow's no different for us in the fact that I've prepared for a big game in an England shirt, I can do it in a City shirt.
And plenty of City representation in the PFA Awards, that must be pleasing as well.
Yeah, I think one thing I've said from the start to this team is, collectively as a team, we have to be together, and if we play together and prepare together and work together, we will win team awards. So we will win the league, we will win the Continental Cup, and hopefully if we keep doing that, we will win the FA Cup. We aspire to get to the Champions League final, but along the way, we really want our players to get those individual awards, because it proves that individually, everything that they're putting in, they're getting something back from it. So yeah, collectively we want to win, but we're really proud of our players when individually they go out and get in the PFA Team of the Year, or like Lucy and the others, get nominated for that individual award.
Thanks, Nick.
Nick, you've said there's no pressure on the team. Do you feel there's any responsibility with being England's representatives in this competition?
Not at all. No, I think the majority of England and the majority of the English women's football world are really proud of us already for getting to the Champions League semi-final.
In the sense of how the English league is viewed from the rest of Europe, though, a City, the standard bearers for English football at the minute.
I think people perceive we are the standard bearers because we've got the furthest and we're in the semi-final. Do I think the people are proud of us? Yeah. Do I think we'll let them down if we don't win and we don't go through to the final? No. I think we'll let ourselves down if we don't perform on the day. But we spoke about that throughout the first year in the Continental Cup final, throughout the big games here against Chelsea. One thing I will continue to say to this team is don't be desperate. Don't be desperate to get to the Champions League final, because football is about two teams playing 90 minutes or 120 minutes when it goes to extra time, and the best team on the day wins. So that's all we're concerned with is tomorrow, making sure that we're content with the performance at the end of the game, and if we're the best team on the day, we'll win.
Hi Nick, tomorrow in the first leg, what's your priority going to be? Is it to keep a clean sheet, or will you be going all out for it?
We go into every game to try and perform at the highest level, and I say to all the players, and I've said, you know, we want to try and win every football game. For this team to now try and change the mentality of the team, to try and ask them to play for a draw or play not to lose, is me almost tearing up the blueprint of what we've done over the last 3 seasons. So we will try and replicate every performance that we've had previous, and you know what, those have been wins. We're at home. I've said before, our whole strategy and our whole aim for our women's team is we don't isolate individual trophies. Now, I'm not saying I don't want to win individual trophies. What I'm saying is we want to get as many fans in as we can and entertain them so that they keep coming back. And we hope tomorrow that the crowd in the gate is another big crowd that we can put a performance on that makes them come back when we play Arsenal and Chelsea here. Because that ultimately is the bigger picture for us. And in short term, if we play well tomorrow, then we'll trouble Lyon.
Lucy, tomorrow potentially you could be facing 3 of the best strikers in the world. As a defender, does that fill you with anticipation? Is that a challenge that you look forward to?
Yeah, I look forward to it. I think they're the games that I get most excited for. I like playing against the likes of Alex Morgan, Busama, Hedberg. They're all the 3 players that I'd ask every day to play against. So playing them tomorrow is exciting for me. I'm not shying away from a challenge. I'm not one to ever shy away from any challenge, and you know, all the girls are really excited about it. And it's, for me, those are 3 players that I've played against very recently as well in an England shirt and been successful or done all right as a team against them. So it's exciting.
Lucy, obviously these attackers, you've come up against them all already in 2017, whether it was in La Manga with England or at She Believes. Do the performances you put in with England now against these kind of players give you more confidence, especially given the amount of England players you've got in this squad alone?
Well, I say it a lot when I play for England that, you know, playing next to Steph, in front of KB, behind Jill, you know, the names go on. It brings more confidence when you put an England shirt on, and vice versa. I know playing next to Steph that we've played up against a lot of the strikers, or players, midfielders, whoever that we're playing against tomorrow. So I've had that relationship with her playing against them in an England shirt. It'll be no different when we play in a City shirt, if not even better, because we play even more together when we're at club.
And Nick, whatever happens, you've had a great run in the Champions League this year. Obviously, with the way our league was structured last year, we know you'll be in the Champions League next season already. What have you learned about your team this year that you can take into next year's campaign?
I've learned that they can grow in performance, irrelevant of who we play. They have a trust and they have a real buy-in to the style of football that we want to play here, and that no matter who we play or where we play, they can replicate performances that cause teams problems and contain teams' threats. And that's all we've asked. You know, we don't tend to really prepare other than trying to build on the last performance for where we can improve. We looked at the Liverpool game and we see in the areas where we need to improve, and where if we replicate that performance, areas where Lyon might get some joy. So we've tried to improve ourselves, and that's what we'll always try and do. Like I said, you know, in 3 years we've got to be the best, one of the top 4 teams in Europe. We're already extremely proud of what we've achieved, but we want to go further. I think that breeds a really good feeling in the squad, and I felt it this week that we want to go further, but we understand that, you know what, there's no pressure on us to have to go and be in the final. That gives a freedom and means that this team can play tomorrow with a real desire, a real motivation, and a freedom to just perform.
And at the end of the day, you know, Wolfsburg beat them in the second leg in the last round. They're not robots, you know, they're the champions of Europe, but they're beatable, and this team's capable of beating them. Is that what you say to the players, that there's no pressure and go out and express yourselves?
Every football team has strengths and weaknesses, and ultimately our job is to be the best we can be and exploit the opposition's weaknesses. Wolfsburg must have done that on that game. We will go out tomorrow to be the best version of ourselves that we can be and exploit the weaknesses that we've seen Lyon have.
Nick, this team certainly achieved quite a lot since this project started, and as you mentioned, the players have had moments like this and played against opposition of this calibre. But is this this Lyon team over 180 minutes the biggest challenge City have faced yet?
Yeah, I think from the outside looking in, this is the biggest challenge we've faced because it's a Champions League semi-final that we've never played in against the current holders that have a wealth of quality across the squad. You know, we looked and they have 29 contracted players, and 28 of them are internationals that play in their team. But that really doesn't concern us. Our main concern is to make sure that we are the best version of ourselves. And there is no better place to play than against the team that is perceived as the best. Over 2 games, 1 home, 1 away, there's no excuses, is there? What will happen at the end of the games will be. We need to make sure, and like I've said before, that we are the best version that we can be. And then we know where we're at. Because we know where we're at in England. We're undefeated champions. We didn't lose a game in the league. We haven't lost a game in the Champions League. It's not like we've had to hang on and make sure that we score more in the first leg because we lose the second leg. We've won all the games. So we just need to keep improving. Make sure that we look at the areas where we can be better and make sure that we are better and that every player goes on the pitch tomorrow, plays with no fear and plays their ability because we've got some good players in this squad.
Nick, with having Pep here this year, it must be, you know, as a coach, kind of remiss of yourself not to kind of to tap into what he's got and what he's achieved. Is there anything in particular that he's given to you this season that you'll take away from or take into Saturdays and thinking that'll be important?
I think as coaches, I think it's a big question. I think as coaches, we've all got creative minds and we all have our own way of playing. But you know, what Pep has achieved as a coach, I would be a fool not to tap into that. We need to make sure that in the game, irrelevant of how our first team play, how we play, how the world of football plays, we need to make sure that the preparation that we've put in for tomorrow's game, that we focus and concentrate on that preparation and that we play with no fear. I've said before to the players, big players want to play in big games and big players put big performances on in big games. And that's all we ask. We've got some big players in our squad. We trust our preparation, we trust our style of play, and we just need to get the game going now. I can feel in the squad that the players just want to start the game now. They want to get into the game and just go and enjoy it.
Is that his main, what he said to you about being fearless? Is that?
Well, I think if you look at our first team this year, the way that they've stuck to the style of play that they play and the way that they trust in the style of play that we are trying to grow here, they're in the first year of their project. And they are trying to grow that style and trying to improve it, just like we are. So I look at our first team and they fill us with real motivation to get the ball down and try and dominate the ball, because that's what this football club does. We want to play beautiful football. We want to play a style of football that the fans want to come and watch and want to come back and watch.
Thank you.
Thank you.